Ramona Gardens, East LA. So, I mean, you kind of just fell into it because my father was an abusive alcoholic father, and he didn't make a home for me to be safe in. So I would go out to the streets and I would see people. Back in the day, it was like the Fast and Furious days. They had the Honda Civics and the Acura and Integras, and they had a lot of money. So they had money, power, wealth, everything, women. So we saw that growing up, and we're like, you know what? I'm not going to school. I can't go home because I'm going to get beat. So I'm just going to hang out in the streets as long as I can. And that was kind of like, as twisted as it was our safe haven. It was a safe place for me.
Yeah.
So I just got in the mix with my neighborhood, a huge Chinese gang. We had ties to the mafia, Chinese mafia and all that. So, we just did all the grunt work for them. And, I joined at the age of 12 years old and ended up going to prison for 13 years of my life. Got out and basically got saved.
What's going on, y'all? So many of you have been watching episodes and trying to figure out how you can stay more connected, figure out what's going on. What do we do outside of this? Well, let me tell you, you're going to click the link below because that's going to give you access to everything you need to know coming straight to your inbox, and it is free. Backtrack a little bit. You get wrapped up in this Chinese gang in your community. Like, I know how kids get courted on to like a lot of the black gangs, the Bloods, the Crips, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
Me as a kid, it was like just the neighborhood I lived in, and then eventually it was like Cass was like, and I was a hangbanger. I wasn't a gangbanger, a hangbanger. You know what I'm saying? It's where all your homies gangbang, and you like, yeah, I'm with you until they start getting crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I knew how the process was of getting courted on to the hood and becoming a part of it. But is it similar in the Asian community? How was that for you?
Yes, it's really similar. I mean, they're called put-ons. They beat you up for a certain amount of minutes, certain amount of people. I was 12 when I got put on, and I had to fight like 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. I had to fight 18-year-olds. So, they do it because it's when they court you, they want to see if you're tough. They want to see if you can hang, basically.
Yeah.
If you'll snitch, if you'll, because you're going to get into that lifestyle where you're going to run into enemies and ops and stuff like that. So, for me, it was fighting, and I was all busted up. I remember, and you're not winning no put-ons, basically, right? But the fact that you just endure it, basically, is what they do. Very similar to blacks, very similar to essays, Mexicans. So it's the same thing. And then after that, you got to put in work on top of that.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, there's people who are gang members, and then there's gang bangers, right? So gang members are ones who bring money to the neighborhood, especially for Asians. You got to bring money. It's a big thing. So you earn respect either by bringing money, and then there's gang bangers. Because I was poor, I didn't have means to bring money, so I was putting in all the grunt work. I was raising my hand, volunteering for the shootings and carrying things and all that stuff. And being young, in California system, you can't really, even if you kill somebody at that time, you could only do juvenile life, which is 25 years, and you'll get out. So, I mean, even if they were using us basically in that way, right, as foot soldiers, I was one of those. So, yeah.
So you said 12, bro.
Yeah.
Like, my son is 12. He plays video games and like Rubik's Cubes and stuff like that, man. Like, to imagine him raising his hand to go on a mission to go shoot somebody. Like, what created that, mindset for you? Did you know what you were getting into, or you just you woke up one day, you were in the back of a car, and it was like, oh, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, I think because I didn't have that family, where my father said I love you. I never heard him say I love you. My mom, same thing. Asians are very stereotypical in this way, where they don't say I love you, right? They show you more through action rather than word. And him being an alcoholic, my mom being Buddhist, very submissive, he ran the house. So I just I never felt loved, and I felt like, you know what, I gotta look for family. So when I seen these people, the first thing that they did was they gave me $100. And at 12 years old, bro, $100 is like $1,000, right? And so I was like, dang, they love me. They feed me. They clothe me. They back me up. They gave me my first strap. Like, I was just like, okay, so they're trying to protect me, they're providing for me, so it was just like, okay, these are dudes who, even if I die, like it would be an honor to like die for these people. So from a young age, that was already ingrained inside of my brain. And after that, you got to put in work. It's like, hey, bro, we take care of you. Now you got to take care of some stuff for us. And it was just the same thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I did my first shooting at 12. 12 was a pivotal point for me because yes, I was a kid, but I was always kind of a little bit bigger. So I looked like I was maybe 15.
Yeah.
So, and I was just living that lifestyle. And yeah, I found myself just getting into the mix of things naturally because as you're around those people, right? You hang around a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So being around gang members, you're going to put in work. You have to. So there's going to be a time where you get pressed. There's going to be a time where you get put to the test. And that's just what was happening. And yeah, I didn't think. I was very impulsive. And like most kids are, they feel something and they do it. So for me, it was an extreme of like, okay, I'm going to do everything. And I kind of understood because I didn't have love. The more crazier stuff that I did, I could see a correlation between how much more respect I was getting. So I seen like, okay, if I do a shooting, people are gonna look at me and go, oh, that's crazy. Yeah. And that's how I earned my name. They call me ill, which is like mentally ill, because I'll go from 0 to 100 back to 0 and be calm again. So people be like, yo, that's crazy. So,
yeah, you were groomed
right
in a lot of ways, right? Like you, and I feel like whether it's a pimp who finds women who are come from these battered backgrounds. Right. It's like, oh, you're the perfect candidate to be this. I feel like in a lot of ways, it's the kids who really have nothing to lose. There's nothing at home that's going to give them what they're getting out here. So in a sense, they're just groomed. It's like, and I understood that as a kid, I distinctly remember standing on a street corner and the older gang members came by. They said, man, the rivals are coming through shooting. I'm 12, 13. They said, y'all need to start shooting back. And in my mind, see, I had a loving mother. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, my father was on some weird stuff. I had aunties who cared about me. And in my mind, they always told me, you could be this or you could be that. So there was something in my mind that said, I might have a chance. Right. But there was other kids around me who were like, this is chance, my only chance is the respect of these guys. Sheesh. So you fell into that pattern. Yeah. That becomes who you are. Then you get arrested. Like you end up you go to YA Youth Authority, right? California Youth Authority, which is not like I've been a juvenile in certain cities. It's not California Youth Authority for people who don't know. Like what they call it gladiator school, right? Like what is that? What was it like?
Yeah, it was crazy. You're housed with people from 10 years old all the way to like 17, even 18-year-olds. And yeah, it's crazy. I seen rapes, I seen murders in there, I seen crazy riots. I mean, and these are kids doing things to other kids, youth doing to the youth. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not juvenile hall. Yeah. Juvenile hall is more like fights and people go home and stuff. YA is essentially the worst of the worst. And the neighborhood that I was from, we had gang injunctions. We got RICO'd. So of course people are like, this. When I went on trial, it was my first offense. And they were like, well, he's a childhood assassin. They done groomed him to do this crazy stuff. They brought up rap sheets of my OGs who are doing life without parole. And so the judge just threw the book at us and was like, yo, no, you're going to go to YA. Not only that, you're going to do the maximum sentence. And it was just crazy.
So what's the max sentence for a 12-year-old?
So for me, it was 4 years, but you're only supposed to do half, right? Right. So, but I ended up doing the whole. If you go to YA and you